Okay, so look at this first picture. I want you to tell me how many sounds are in the word cry. Count the sounds in the word cry and put it in the chat, please. In the word cry. Put it in the chat. Good. I'm getting a lot of 3s and some 4s. So in cry, we have k, I. Just as the same number of sounds as there are letters in that word. Why? And this is an interesting fact that I want you to pay attention to. Why at the end of that word is saying I? Because whenever Y is at the end of a short word, when it's the only vowel in there, and remember from last week, Y is a vowel when it's not the first letter. So when Y is the only vowel in a word and it comes at the end of it, it's always going to say I. I'll put some examples in the chat for you. And this is handy for spelling too, because whenever you hear I at the end of the word, you're always going to use a Y. Never use an I except for the word hi. So do you see how these are all tiny little words and Y is the only vowel? When Y is at the end of a one-syllable word, it's always going to say I for reading. For spelling, when you're spelling a word that ends with the I sound, even if it's longer, like multiply, satisfy, spell it with a Y, because I doesn't come at the end of any American word unless it's the word hi. You'll see I at the end of foreign words like sushi or spaghetti or origami, but those aren't American words and those are allowed to word. Oh, you're right, Kathy. So IGH. Darn it, she got me. Good job, Kathy. She said, what about the word hi? IGH is a grapheme that also says I. So I should say 99% of the time when you hear I at the end of the word, spell it with an I. Okay, so cry has 3 sounds, k, I. Try how many sounds are in elk. Count the sounds in elk. Put it in the chat. Nice. Okay, so I put elk in here because it's difficult for a lot of people to separate the from the ul, but most of you were able to figure out how to separate those two sounds. L is usually combined into one sound, but we have to separate them out so that we know that each letter has a job when you're reading and spelling. So elk has ul, k. Your mouth is, if you pay attention to the shape of your mouth when you're saying those 3 sounds within elk, you'll notice that it changes for those 3 sounds. Your tongue is just hanging out in the middle with your mouth open. Ul, your tongue is going between your teeth or behind your top teeth. And k, the back of your tongue is kicking against the back of your throat. Let me talk to you about that sound real fast. So that is a vowel sound. And does anybody know what a vowel is? Not just what the vowels are, but what does a vowel mean? What does that word mean? To be a vowel, what is that? What does that mean? What's a vowel? Yes, your tongue, lips, or teeth are not obstructing the sound. So it's open. So the sound is not stopped by your tongue, lips, or teeth. It's just that they can just keep going, and your tongue and your lips and your teeth are not obstructing the sound. That's a vowel. Isn't that interesting? Okay, well done, Adama. All right, how many sounds in, I'm going to do 2 on this one. How many sounds in sand? Sand. Put it in the chat. Wow, good job, everyone. Yes, sand has 4 sounds. S-A-N-D. Did you notice those 4 mouth shapes? Every mouth shape has a different sound. You can feel it when you say it yourself because everybody's muted. You can say it. and. Now, how many sounds? We're going to get a little bit harder this time. Last one, seashell. Count the sounds in seashell. Take your time. My goodness, everybody's doing so good. Wow. Very good. You guys have been studying or doing your homework or practicing or something. So seashell. S, E, sh, e, l. 5 sounds. Watch my mouth shape for each sound. S, E, sh, e, l. 5 mouth shapes, 5 sounds. Excellent. Good job. Seashell. Yes. Okay. So today we're going to learn about the schwa sound. The rule for the letter A in this lesson is A at the end always says is the sound that a short U makes, as in umbrella or upside down. It is also the sound of schwa. So schwa, let me put how to spell it in the chat, just because it's awful to look at, but it's easy to say. So that's how you spell schwa. Oh wait, I put it into the waiting room participants. I wonder if you could have seen the other words that I put with that ended in Y. Schwa is the name of a sound. The sound is the laziest sound that your mouth can make without any muscles being used in your tongue or your jaw. So it's like your mouth is just hanging open. Don't drop your jaw or the sound will change. So don't use muscles to drop your jaw, otherwise it will turn into ah. But just let it hang and don't let your tongue do anything. Just let out the laziest sound that you can make. And the sound is just and that's the sound of schwa. The symbol is an upside down E. So when I go to mark the schwa sounds in this lesson, you're going to see me put an upside down E above the letter A when it makes the schwa sound. Every vowel will change to the schwa sound at some point. And I'm going to teach you what those rules are so you never have to wonder, because there's rules for when every vowel will make every sound. And I'm going to teach them to you one at a time. Today's rule is when A is at the end, it says it makes the schwa sound. Okay, so let's look at that lesson. So I'm going to do this first one for you, and then we'll do the next one together over here. So watch me over here. I know this C is going to say k. That's its most common sound. For this A, actually, I'm going to make this a little bigger. For this first A, I'm going to do the tap 2 rule. I'm going to look at the next 2 letters. 1, 2. Yes, there's a vowel there. So yes, it says its name, A. This A is at the end of a multi-syllable word. So it's going to say that's that upside down E. If you have a piece of paper right there in front of you and you have a pencil and you're doing this at home, to make that upside down E, you're going to start with the line and you're going to go back, down, up, and around. Back, down, up, and around. That's how to make that upside down E, okay? So when I dot the sounds, it's k, a, p, blending the sounds together, it's K-pa, K-pa. All right. Let's try yours over here on number 1. I'll be quiet while you work. Go ahead and mark the vowels. So we know this A by the tap two rule. 1, 2, yes, there's a vowel, 1 or 2 doors down. So yes, that vowel is going to say its name, A. We know this A at the end of a word says So the sounds are T, A, P, When you push those sounds together, remember the line represents the sounds. There's no breaks. So push those sounds together till they touch. Tape-a, tape-a. I also want you to pay attention to that T and P sound. They were voiceless. There was no air. There's no voice, only air. T and P. Tape-a, tape-a. Okay, number 2, I'll do this one for you. So this A, I'm going to do the tap two rule. 1, 2, nope, there's not another vowel, 1 or 2 doors down. So no, it's not going to say its name. It's going to say its regular short sound, ah. And A's at the end say back, down, up, and around. So the sounds are d, a, n, d, Dranda, Dranda, Dranda. Before we do your number 2, I want to talk to you about what's happening on that A. Hang on, let me answer somebody's question here. So when A has an N or an M after it, those are nasal sounds, especially an N. Nasal meaning the sound comes out your nose more than your mouth. So like, the sound is coming out your nose, and it's kind of a nasally sound. So whenever an A is before a nasal sound, it's going to have kind of a nasally sound to it. And it's going to sound a little bit more like a kind of, some teachers call it a whiny A, kind of like you're whining. It's also a little bit kind of like a Texan sound or a Southern accent. So if you come out and if the word comes out Dranda with that A saying kind of like a instead of then that's okay. That happens naturally because of that nasal sound after it. So if it was pure, it would say Dranda, but that's hard for us to say quickly. That A turns into kind of a nasal sound naturally when there's an N after it. So you might just find yourself saying Dranda, Dranda. That A just kind of gets elongated and kind of nasalized. All right, so let's do excuse me, I need to let one more person in. Okay, you're number 2. Go ahead. I'll be quiet while you work. Okay, so we know that this first A is going to say or kind of nasally because of that N there. This A is going to say So the sounds are f, n, d, Franda, Franda. Now, please put in the chat how you're doing so far on your 1 and 2. How did you do? One word to describe how you did. Okay, number 3. So this A is going to say A because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. This A is going to say because there's not another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. This A is going to say because it's at the end of the word. Now, you should feel so happy and proud that you know why a word with 3 A's, each one of those A's can make a different sound, and why. That A is in there 3 different times making 3 different sounds, and you don't have to guess what sound it's going to make. You know because of the rules that you've learned. This A is going to say A because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. This A is going to say A because the next 2 letters are consonants. This A is going to say because it's the last letter. By the way, whenever you see a double consonant like that, it only gets 1 sound, and the sound before it's going to be short. Okay, we're going to say the hard sound of this G, G, because that's the sound it makes almost always. I'll tell you when it doesn't. So the sounds are G, U, A, S, A, N, A. Remember, those 2 letters only make 1 sound, so they only get 1 dot. Because we're not dotting letters, we're dotting sounds. So pushing those sounds together, it's Glacana. 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 Okay, go ahead and try yours. Remember, this digraph says sh, and it only gets 1 sound. Okay, so the sounds are shh. Remember, that's a quiet sound. Only air comes out, shh, and it's sustained. You can hold on to it. This A is going to say A. This A will say A. And this A will say 3 A's saying 3 different things, but we know when and why. So the sounds are sh, A, A, P, Shemapa. Shemapa. Did you get it? Give me a thumbs up if you got that one. Shemapa. Oh, that's okay. It's okay if you didn't. This is hard stuff. Okay, number 4. Because I can tell already. I don't even have to count. I can tell by that double N right there. Whenever that happens, that means that vowel before it's going to say its short sound, ah. This A is going to say A because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down right there. And this A at the end says back, down, up, and around. So the sounds are sh, n, a, d, Shanada. Shanada. They grab just 1 sound at a time. So it would look like this. Sh, sha, shan, shane, shanade, shanada. That's a brilliant strategy. All right, you can try that on your, if you want, on your number 4. I'll be quiet while you work. Okay, so this sound of the C is going to say k. C will almost always say k. 23 out of 26 times it's going to make that hard sound. So this A is going to say A because those double consonants. This A is going to say A because of that vowel 2 doors down. This A will say because it's at the end. Sounds are k, l, a, a, d, a. I'm going to go one at a time. K, kl, cla, clam, clammy, clamade, clamada, clamada. Will you put in the chat how you did? so I can gauge how we're doing. Susan, I got a double good from you. Good, good. Nice. Excellent. That's good to hear. Okay, I want to know if anybody wants to read with me. That is where I will guide you through pronouncing the word on your own without me.